Good afternoon, everybody. This is Keith with Spreadsheet Sports. I'm here today on Friday, 6/19, and going to give you guys a little bit of tips and stuff that I use to help capitalize me and get lower ownership players. And it's called recency bias. We all have those players that kind of tend to not do well when we pick them. Everybody has those players. What ends up happening is those players get put on a separate list, like a do not play list. I call mine my can't get right list. And it doesn't matter if they go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, or if they come up with the bases loaded and ground into a inning-ending double play. There's always those players in baseball that end up keeping you from either cashing or cashing significantly more than what you would have if they just would have done one hit and got 2 RBIs or something productive. The biggest ones are pitchers, actually. We tend to remember those the most because they come up about every 5 days. And what ends up happening is we use that recency bias and we overlook them automatically. The biggest one that I capitalized on a couple days ago was actually Felix Hernandez. In the GPP that I was in, Felix Hernandez the other night was 3% owned. And that was following the day or the outing that he ended up only throwing about an inning, a third of an inning, and allowing 8 runs to the Astros. So that was something that I took into. I knew that a lot of players weren't going to be on him because of the last 2 or 3 outings. He hadn't really performed that well. And I ended up capitalizing on it and cashing some GPP lineups. So recency bias is something to take into effect. Look for those players that are in good spots that you might not play or you might play that don't end up performing to what your thought and expectation was. What ends up happening is players take those, they put it away in their memory bank, and then they just kind of gloss over them the next time they're in that same position or they're in a good spot. The more that this happens, the better your ownership percentage is going to be as far as those players in GPPs. So that's just a little tip from me today on don't let the recency bias affect your decision making and your lineup building, because it is something that can cost you a lot of money and prevent you from placing high in those GPPs. So a couple plays that we've got today. I've got 2 pitchers that I'm going to target for GPPs other than my cash game lineup. And the first one is going to be Tyler Lyons with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's the biggest favorite on the day as far as Vegas is concerned, and he's facing the Phillies. There's not really a lot to say there. He's facing the Phillies. One of the big things I do target as far as GPPs is concerned is mid-level pitchers in good spots against bad teams. And that's kind of the theme that I have going today, not only, with my article, but the video as well. The next one I'm going to be targeting, and everybody's going to think I'm crazy, and that's fine because that means I'll get him at a low ownership, is Jorge De La Rosa. Call me a homer if you like, but Jorge is actually one of those pitchers. He's about the only one that does a heck of a lot better at Coors Field than he does on the road. So he's got high strikeout potential. I'm expecting 9, 10 strikeouts tonight because the Brewers are not good against left-handed pitching. So he's a GPP only play because it's going to allow me to load up on some bats, some higher priced bats like Paul Goldschmidt and Troy Tulowitzki, and a lot of those Coors bats as well. But it's also going to allow me to get a lower owned pitcher in a good situation that actually does well at Coors Field. So I'm not scared about Ryan Braun. He's not the player he used to be. Jonathan Lucroy doesn't hit for the power. Adam Lynn is a lefty, and Jorge De La Rosa dominates lefties. So I'll lock and load Jorge in GPPs all night long, and we'll see tomorrow exactly how it does for me. So some of the players, the hitters, and the bats that I'm going to be using tonight. Obviously, we know Paul Goldschmidt. He's that's one of the things about being contrarian. Sometimes is contrarian doesn't always mean finding the best value as far as paying down and going cheap. Sometimes it means actually paying up when others aren't willing to do so. So you've got Miguel Cabrera. You've got a lot of these players right there in the middle tier that aren't over 5,000. And then you have Paul Goldschmidt, who's on fire, and he's way up there. So I'll be playing Paul Goldschmidt in some lineups. I'll also be targeting Joey Votto within my red stacks tonight. And the Oakland A's, I'll also be targeting them as well. Mark Canha is somebody that I tend to play a lot. Especially against right-handed pitching. He's one of those that has reverse splits, and he's absolutely crushing left or right-handed pitching this year. And it's something that, since he's a right-handed batter and he's facing a righty, he gets overlooked. A lot of people like to play the opposite handedness for pitcher batter because they feel it gives them an advantage. And there are some of those players out there that have those reverse splits that bat better against right-handed pitchers as a right-handed batter than they do against lefties. So that's something that I always look for, and something that I always try to play off of is always trying to see where the crowd is going for GPPs, because that's how I end up getting low ownership percentage players. And just like King Felix, if he goes off for 18 points like he did the other night, then he ends up rocketing me up the leaderboard, and I end up turning chaos into cash. So with that, Spreadsheet Sports, good luck to everybody tonight in your games and contests, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.